Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. This is going to be my TROG 2022 car. There's a couple things I have to do, so I'm going to do it in the video for the build up to TROG this year. This is a running, driving Model A. This is my 31 Roadster. It is actually my drivetrain, chassis, everything from my last TROG car. All I did was switch bodies. Now that I'm in a different body class, I have to put a roll bar on this, so I need to make a roll bar. I need to finish making my seat. I kind of just mocked it up, got the car driving, kind of just left it as it was because I got a bunch of other projects in here, as you guys already know. So what I need to do on this is put my new water pumps on. I need to paint this aluminum radiator black. It looks cool looking through the grill. I like that look, but to keep it as a traditional hot rod, a black radiator is actually gonna fit the look way better. So we're gonna do that. I got a dual carb intake from Gear Drive. It's really cool, really unique. I think you guys are gonna love it. I'm gonna set that up on here. I need to split the fuel lines, and I need to make my seat an actual seat. So when I do the roll bar behind the seat, I wanna make a bar that goes across to put my harness into, actual legit racing harness. Then I need to make the seat hang from the roll bar. Since I'm moving it back. I'm not having it as forward as a traditional Roadster. I'm gonna move it as far back against the roll bar as I possibly can, just to give you more space. This dash, I made this dash, this steering column, I bolted it to the frame for my tutor. I was able to sit further back in the tutor, so it didn't matter that the column was lower. Now that I'm sitting so close to the dash, my column is too low for a Roadster technically. But I already bolted and welded my flange and everything for the steering box. I could cut that apart later and fix it and move my dash up. I don't know what I'm gonna do about that in the long run, but in the short run, I gotta be able to fit inside this car while driving it. So there's the couple things I gotta do. This month, we're excited for TROG. We'll be covering it on the Rod and Style YouTube channel. I'll be doing the car show from my channel. And there'll be updates going back and forth between both channel guys, so make sure you stay tuned. And if you're going to TROG, stop by and say hello. Let's get started. So I made this template here out of wood. Why? That's just what I had on hand. I didn't have any more cardboard left. And it fits in a little bit too tight. But my idea is when I cut this into the actual thick board that's actually going to hold my fat ass, I'll cut it just inside of my tracing marks, and that should give me enough space for the difference. Easy, seat belts are gonna bolt here. They're gonna bolt to the front of this bracket here. The whole bracket, let me pull this off and I'll show you. Ow. Like I said, too tight, but I got it to work so I could drive the car at the time. That's what I was trying to get out of the way here. So I need to cut that down. But this piece here, the whole bracket holds the seat. I cut an inch out of it and moved it an inch forward, more to the rear, so I could have more leg room here. Obviously, I'm not finished messing with it. I need to weld it in fully to the subframe, or maybe a couple rosette welds. But this will do me for now. And let's get started on making the seat. So we'll make the seat bottom first. So we're in the back of my shop now because I was trying to find some wood. I would like to use some wood like this, but this has been rained on, a little bit waterlogged. The stuff I had underneath the shed is plywood, and it'll work just fine because, I mean, it's gonna have a lot of strength and rigidity to it after it's cut out and set inside that steel stamp. So it should be all right. This is a wall off of my garage from when we extended it, where the outlet's cut out and everything. That's why it's all in a weird shape. So we'll cut this out and get this seat going. So I'm just gonna throw my template on here. And I'm not worried about saving any of this wood because it's an awkward shape anyways. And I'm just gonna hold it still, trace around it, then cut inside of my line just because this template was just a tad too big. this is a nice, easy way for you guys to make seats for yourself at home. Seat bottoms anyways. The seat bottom is very simple. All right, that's good enough to cut it out. Hopefully that ended up just small enough to fit inside that steel stamp there. Slightly smaller than what I got. Need to grind my edges a little bit cleaner and see how it fits. Some of you guys watching this might be woodworking guys. I'm not a woodworking guy. I don't have woodworking tools. All my tools are steel tools. All right, hopefully it fits on the first try. Should have known my luck wasn't that good. Now every turn, every cut doesn't have to be perfect, because on top of this is going to be my 4-inch foam. And on top of that is going to be my distressed leather, so I think that'll look nice. Get these 2 cuts done. Sweet. All right, so now that I got this fitting how I like it, it's time to cut out my foam. Now I worked at a couple different hot rod shops, and at those shops I would slide the foam through a 4-inch bandsaw. Super easy to do, quick. But I'm only 2 years into my own personal hot rod shop here. It's hard to buy every tool you need for a full-time hot rod shop in 2 years. I don't have a bandsaw, so I need to figure out how I'm going to cut that foam. So don't judge me on how I figure it out. Now, obviously you want to cut as little as possible to have as little as possible scraps. That's like working on anything 101. But to cut this foam, you have to have maybe 2 or 3 inches so it doesn't want to flex and move around on you. So I have to cut off a pretty significant size over here, just so the foam is cuttable. And I'm going to line it up across the back. just trace it with my Sharpie, just like that. Now this seat is going to be a flat foam seat. If I wanted to actually have a curve in it, like for your legs and everything, you wouldn't cut it out in this direction. You'd be cutting out in this direction and gluing the pieces together. So like an example, a nice curved seat would be something like this, then back down at the back. So you'd be looking at it like this, and you're going to be cutting out pieces like that. I just drew it on the side, but you'd actually draw it on the top, and you'd cut out like 10 of those pieces and glue them together, and that's how you'd make a seat with a curve. This is not that kind of car. This is my jalopy. This is my race car. It's not going to get that super fancy stuff. The Blue Martian, on the other hand, it's getting all the fancy stuff. So I like to have best of both worlds. Jalopy, simple, easy to build, easy to fix. Blue Martian, which you can't see it. You guys are standing over it in the camera. Very technical, very souped up. So this isn't the souped up rod. Now I need to figure out how I'm going to cut this. I don't know if like a long knife is going to do it. I wish I had a bandsaw. I do not. And obviously that jigsaw that I was using outside is not long enough to cut all the way through this. Let's see what I can get to work though. All right, luckily my wife doesn't watch any of my YouTube videos unless one of you assholes tags her. I'm going to try our kitchen knife, serrated knife, and see how that works. Wow, that works way better than I thought. At least I can keep this way up and down, because my next thought was if this didn't work, I'll get the Sawzall out and Sawzall it out, but I was worried about keeping the Sawzall completely straight up and down. I at least want this to be a square block of foam, so when I cover it, it's a square cover, you know? It's not angled in any kind of way. All right, I might get my sweat on, but this is gonna work. And faster than you think it would work. It's actually working pretty good. Oh man, it's kind of making zigzags in it somehow. I don't know why there's zigzags. Probably because I'm not moving this fast enough. Also, foam is really easy to carve after it's cut out with your right angle grinder as well. So it's a huge mess. Move this over to the edge here. I don't like all the zigzags this is creating, but underneath the cover you won't see any of this, I guess. Maybe I'm pushing too hard. Let's try pushing a little bit less. Like I said before, I've done this, I've always had a bandsaw. Only so many tools you can buy in a year or two. I got a TIG and all sorts of stuff in that time frame, so. I'm definitely gonna have to get a bandsaw before I build the seat for the Blue Martian, because this would not fly on my pretty rod. This would only fly on the jalopy. Wow, it worked better than I thought. Oh, now you can see what I was talking about. All these ripples. I might try hitting that really quick with a grinder, just to barely smooth it out, because I don't want to see the ripples in my cover. But this is my jalopy. I'm not going to spend all day on a seat. Okay, so more than that, I don't want a hard edge on the top of the seat. So when I go to wrap it and condense it down, I have a little bit of a softer edge for the fabric because it's going to be straight leather, no pleats, real simple, traditional hot rod style. Then I'm going to make from scratch, I can't think what it's called right now, but the bead that goes between both fabrics. Soft edge, not perfectly even. If this was a really pretty rod with nice interior, I'll do more detail. We have our wood board here. And I'm going to make some pull tabs there so I can grab that easier later on. Here's our 4-inch foam seat. And no, that'll be good for a cover. Cover will pull the foam tighter than what it is now. So there we go, that's our seat. And I need to put the cover on it, which I have all of that for the cover. Should look good for traditional hot rod. But out of complete honesty and complete clarity for you guys, I have a lot I need to do before TROG happens. So this is going to be the last thing that I'm worried about, because I need to get this seat up in here and the roll bar up in here. So what I'm going to do for now is the old Mexican blanket trick, and if this doesn't get finished before TROG, so be it. But if I ended up having some free time before TROG, I'll cover it. So that's that. Super simple. You don't have to overcomplicate anything. I hate when certain things are so complicated. It's like, well, I'd never be able to do that at home. So everything I did just here is something you guys could do without paying someone else to do it. And it can look decent. I'm about to fold this up to make this look decent so I can sit in here. But I do plan to cover it. Just don't guarantee to have it covered before the show. So there you have it, guys. Super simple seat foam pad. The only thing that you really need to make sure that you do is glue that foam down to that wood. But also on top of that, when you go to cover this with your leather, I'm going to staple all my fabric to the bottom of that wood. So that's going to end up being one big solid piece. And it's always good to put some carriage bolts to the wood and bolt that down. But I'm not worried about that. I'm not doing any of that. This side here, I'm going to throw my other blanket over this and just call it a day. Actually, I'll do that right now so you guys can see what it looks like. But this side, instead of hooking into the back of this, it's going to hook into the back of the roll bar. So this whole back seat here is all going to be bolted down to the roll bar. So here's what the back seat looks like with just a horse blanket on it, and it's going to get locked into my roll bar. Then there's the material I'm going to use when I have the free time. And you can see how much space I really don't have in here. So not much space, but I'll fix that later on when I can cut the mount for the column and move it up maybe 2 inches. So I got 2 more inches of room that I can work with before I have to alter my dash that I built for my other car. There's the 34 over there, getting that cleaned up and ready. You can see what we're working with. All right, so that does it for this episode. The next couple of episodes will be making a roll bar, putting that dual intake on, and a couple other things for this. On the 34, we'll be installing the motor, breaking in that flathead, putting some new brakes on it. So we have a lot to do, a lot of episodes leading up to TROG. Then we're gonna do full TROG coverage. So this is gonna be your guys' premier channel for TROG content this year. Make sure you like, subscribe, you share to the channel. And the weekend of TROG, if you can't make it there, Watch this channel. We'll cover everything for you. If you can't make it there, stop by and say hi. Thanks for watching, guys.